watching the It's Her Time podcast with Cody and Jess. Hi, welcome back to the It's Her Time podcast. My name is Cody Sanders, and I'm a holistic health practitioner and functional nutritionist. And on today's episode, we are going to talk all about how we can fix those hormones that have a huge impact on our health, because nothing is more frustrating than making lifestyle changes to support your health and lose a little bit of weight, only to find that nothing changes despite all of your efforts. Everywhere you look, there's new fad diets, there's shots or workout programs that seem to bring about dramatic transformations for everyone else. So why don't they work for you? Well, it may be related to a hormone imbalance. And the dirty little secret of the billion-dollar weight loss industry is that despite what you've heard, eating less and moving more isn't always the key to weight loss success. And a lot of the time, the more you try to restrict or over-exercise, the worse things can get. While it's true that some people's weight loss does require a caloric deficit, achieving it is much easier said than done, especially when hormones are out of balance. If this sounds familiar, it's time to look at the possibility that a hormonal imbalance is contributing to your weight loss resistance. And it is certainly time for the armchair or the weight bench medical experts to just calm down with their shame and blame tactics, because when it comes to women's metabolic health and body composition, hormones are everything. But before we go into this episode, let's join Jess for a Mixers Girl Say.
It's the moment you've all been waiting for. It's what we look forward to recording all the time.
Yes.
It's our Mixers Girl Say segment.
We love it.
It is
You
the
girls
best
are the best.
to
You're
read
so
through
funny.
these submissions.
Mhm.
And we laugh so hard.
And it's been a minute since we've had one of these, truly. Like,
Yeah.
it's like from you.
Yes.
Mhm.
And we're coming back strong
Oh, yeah.
because these stories, the best part is know that we are laughing with you
Yeah.
and like thinking of you in these situations. We've been in situations like these. This Tell Us Tuesday Mixers Girls Say segment.
Holidays just give us a lot of content, right?
Oh,
There's
my
just
gosh.
so many things we all can relate
Yeah,
to.
it's like the family interactions, all the cooking, all the food, the traveling, the like hustling and bustling.
Trying to make
It's like-
everything perfect, and it just is
and no,
impossible.
like no one's perfect. It doesn't end up perfect ever, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So this Mixers Girls Say segment, we asked. That's like a tongue twister.
It is a little bit.
We asked your funniest. This is actually Thanksgiving fails, and we wanted to read through these because it's still the holiday season, and these are so funny for the holidays.
So funny.
So one person wrote in, Love Reed is her handle.
Okay.
I accidentally used salt instead of sugar in a homemade pumpkin pie. It was body shakingly gross. The best is like
That's the
imagining everyone
grossest.
like cutting up their pumpkin pie, serving it on
Serving it,
beautiful
so
dishes,
proud.
probably a dollop of whipped cream, and then everyone eating it. And I wonder who the first person was that was like
Probably her. Probably the person that made it.
and then how many people were trying to be like,
Yeah.
good.
Hope to have seconds.
Oh, okay. This is from Malay Ashby. I put the turkey in the garage to thaw, and the neighbor's cat found it in the night and ate it.
Oh my God.
You just go out in the morning like, okay, I'm responsible for the turkey for 25 people. And then
That's so smart. And then just use
this cat's like, oh, do animals get, no, I'm not even going to tell you what my question was, because it was, I was going to say, do animals get sick from eating raw meat?
Nope. I don't think they do. But we do
Oh
advise
my
all
God.
animals to make sure that they thoroughly cook their meat before consuming.
I'm so embarrassed. Okay. I'm sweating. Okay. The pan that the ham, no turkey, so it's not like they had a backup, is what
Okay,
she's saying.
okay.
The pan that the ham was cooking and shattered and covered the whole ham. I'm very laughing. Covered the whole ham in glass. Like,
God, here we
here's
go.
shards of glass. Ham with shards of glass on the side. Oh,
delish.
Okay. Right before dinner, someone broke the fishbowl and it spilled over every pie.
Oh, that's the worst one.
Oh, I just gagged a little.
That's the saddest one.
Oh,
I've never heard of anything like that happening to somebody before. That's sad. But
Have
funny.
you had like a funny cooking story?
Oh, all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Me too.
For us, every year, it's the sweet potatoes and like the last little, 5 minutes when you're trying to broil
and then
the
burn
mashed marshmallows. And we've had flames.
Well, you're not alone. You are not alone.
Glad to know.
B.L. Mickelson. Sorry, I forgot some other people's names. She says, marshmallows on my sweet potatoes caught fire in the oven and the firemen had to come.
You intend to watch it closely.
So flammable.
Well, because it's just lack of patience because you're doing so many things and you're like, I will watch it and I will make sure this, and just because you have like this amount of time to like get them browned, but get them out. And every time, I don't know, I could be diagnosed with ADD. I don't know, but I just can't. I'm never patient enough.
You know what's funny too is like you set timers for things that cook. But when it's on broil and you're like, it's going to be just a second, you're like, I'm going to watch it. And you don't set a timer or anything, even for 30 seconds.
You just are supposed to be a responsible adult that can handle doing the sweet potato casserole. And for some reason, every year I get that assignment. And
everyone's like, here's Cody with the burned sweet potato casserole. Okay. Well, thanks for laughing with us. Thanks for sharing with us. We hope that you got a little chuckle and can relate to some of these stories too. Enjoy the episode. Mixers is a company made for women by women. Each of our products have been carefully and lovingly crafted to support you in all stages of your life, providing you with the optimal health you deserve. Each ingredient we handpick is 100% all natural, backed by science, and chosen specifically to better your life physically, mentally, and hormonally. Each product empowers your body to take charge of its monthly hormonal shift and flows, empowering you to live life to the fullest. Let Mixers take care of your needs from sunup to sundown, and you take care of the rest. Check us out at mixers.com, MIXHERS.
Today, we're going to talk about weight loss in this episode because that is some people's goals, especially with the approaching new year. If that's not your goal, that's okay. But around here, we aren't going to shame anybody's goal or anybody. And if you struggle with an eating disorder and you feel this might be triggering, please feel free to head to any of our other episodes instead. We totally understand and support you. But let's start today's conversation. We're going to talk a little bit about what are hormones and how do they affect weight loss. Well, hormones are your body's chemical messengers that help to regulate everything from metabolism and appetite to fertility and even your mood. When hormones are out of balance, they can wreak havoc on your entire system, including your weight. Now, hormones are like the gas pedal and then the brakes of your metabolism. When they're in balance, your metabolism runs smoothly, but when they're out of balance, your metabolism can grind to a screeching halt. So bringing this back into balance is crucial if you want to feel better in your body. But make no mistake, the hormone influences metabolism shifts are by design. You being very sensitive to environmental shifts because the intention was that you'd create life in your body. They're not flawed. Your body is actually made to survive in the wake of serious stress, which means shifting hormones and storing energy. That's what fat cells are for. It helps us to be able to endure. So let's talk about some of the effects of specific hormones on weight gain and weight loss. Now, multiple hormones can affect our weight, but let's talk about the ones that I address most often when I was working with women. And in many cases, I'll say the imbalance includes actually more than just one hormone because they all work together synergistically. And as an important note, what I most commonly see is that weight is a symptom of a much bigger issue. But we're going to start today with estrogen. Now, estrogen is produced by the ovaries and is responsible for developing and regulating the female reproductive system. It also is essential for our bones, brain, and heart health. But too much, or when it's not in balance with our progesterone, called estrogen excess, or more commonly estrogen dominance, might really make it hard for us to lose weight. Now, estrogen dominance can lead to weight gain. It can cause water retention, painful breasts, irregular periods, and all kinds of other health issues. Now, estrogen dominance, at least in part, can be related to factors such as high environmental estrogen levels, stress, or poor gut health. Now, weight loss with estrogen dominance can be really challenging because fat tissues can actually make more estrogen. So it becomes this whole vicious cycle. Now, in addition, adipose tissue or fat cells can also lead to increased inflammation, which not only can be a culprit in weight loss resistance, but can also contribute to even more estrogen in the body. The tricky thing about estrogen is that it can contribute to weight gain when it drops, as seen with menopause. So both too much and too little can be a problem because estrogen helps to regulate fat tissue in the body. Now, if you're experiencing weight gain around the butt, the hips, the thighs, that may be a clue that your estrogen is in need of support. So I want to share some healthy lifestyle tips to support estrogen imbalance for weight loss. So some of the tips that I want to talk about today are the first one is to increase your fiber intake. Now, fiber can bind to a portion of the estrogen in the gut and then help eliminate excess from the body. We should aim for about 25 to 35 grams of fiber every single day. Some good sources of fiber include things like beans, legumes, whole grains, and vegetables. While all fiber is healthy, the soluble kind that you can find in things like chia seeds, oats, and beans might be the most beneficial for fat loss. So if you're like me, a meal plan and recipes can definitely be helpful in giving you some guidance. So look for those. They are found online. I've often shared them on my own pages and on my website, and I can link that for you in the notes. Now, another tip that I have for you is to avoid xenoestrogens. Now, xenoestrogens are chemicals that mimic the estrogen that's in our body. They are found in many household products such as cleaning supplies and cosmetics and plastics. Now, avoiding xenoestrogens can be difficult, but it is essential to reduce your exposure as much as you possibly can. The other tip I want to share is that you should consider supplements. You may want to try supplements that support healthy estrogen balance like Her Time and Her Thrive. Now let's go into talking about the thyroid hormone. Now your thyroid is it's a butterfly-shaped gland. It's in the neck, and that it produces hormones that regulate our metabolism, our heart rate, and our body temperature. Now, thyroid hormone can affect weight because your thyroid regulates how your body uses energy. Now, a major symptom of an underactive thyroid, which is known as hypothyroidism, is weight gain, or it could be also considered weight loss resistance because it slows your metabolism. This can make it difficult to lose weight or maintain a healthy weight. Now, stress, nutrient deficiencies, certain medications, and diet all play an essential role in your thyroid health. While medication may be needed to correct thyroid dysfunction, lifestyle cannot be ignored. Some healthy lifestyle tips to support your thyroid hormone balance are like the following. Eat a thyroid supporting diet. Now, what do I mean by that? You want to find foods that contain nutrients that are actually needed for optimal thyroid health. Some of the nutrients that are key are things like magnesium, selenium, and healthy fats. Now, you want to get all of this from food, but it's hard to get enough. So you want to also, the next tip is to consider supplementing. Thyroid supportive nutrients like selenium and iodine in the right balance, zinc and vitamin A could be beneficial if you have thyroid issues. Now, Her Time, just so you know, is formulated to help support your thyroid function. All right, the next tip is that it's so important if you are dealing with thyroid issues to address your gut health. Now, gut integrity is closely linked to Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune thyroid disease. So support your gut with a nutrient-rich diet, probiotics, prebiotics, and supplements like L-glutamine, quercetin, and zinc. Now, Her Digest has all of these nutrients plus even more nutrients that are very beneficial for our gut health. Now, my next tip is that it's important to eat regularly to support blood sugar. There's a close link between hypothyroid and insulin resistance. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a minute because thyroid hormone influences how your body uses glucose or sugar. Now, eating regularly spaced fiber-rich meals plus snacks balanced with protein and healthy fat can help regulate your blood sugar. Now I'm going to talk about metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance. Okay. Metabolic syndrome is a condition that includes a group of risk factors that increase the likelihood of developing things like heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. Now, these risk factors include high blood pressure, high blood sugar, abnormal cholesterol levels, and excess body fat around the waist. Metabolic syndrome is closely tied to insulin resistance. Insulin is a hormone that helps your body use glucose or sugar for energy. When the body becomes resistant to insulin, it can't use glucose effectively. This increases blood sugar levels, and too much glucose in the blood is eventually just stored as fat. But contrary to popular thought, insulin itself doesn't make you fat. So before you get scared away from eating that next piece of juicy fruit or that sweet potato, please know that glucose causing elevated insulin levels is a product of insulin resistance and not the root cause. Meaning it's not the carbohydrate leading to fat storage, but the underlying insulin resistance at a cellular level that is the cause. And the root cause of that is due to many factors. Mainly, it's an ongoing diet composed of too many processed foods and not enough real food. Insulin resistance is usually linked with type 2 diabetes, but you can have insulin resistance for years without developing diabetes, without knowing it, and struggling to lose weight the whole time. Insulin resistance is present in the majority of people with polycystic ovarian syndrome or PCOS. So let's talk about some healthy lifestyle tips to support insulin resistance. Okay. My number one tip is to exercise. Exercise helps increase insulin sensitivity. We want to aim for about 30 minutes of moderate activity most days of the week. Now, which exercise is best? Honestly, if you had to choose just one, I would say to lift weights. Strength training is one of the most effective ways to get your cells sensitive to insulin and to shift your metabolism. Now, I've already mentioned this before, but it's a tip for this as well. It's important for you to bump up your fiber. I can't say it enough. Fiber may help slow down sugar absorption into the bloodstream, which could mean your body releases less insulin. Again, we want to aim for around that 25 to 35 grams of fiber per day as women. Now, another tip that I have for this is to choose ferments, okay? Fermented veggies and pickled foods can help moderate spikes in glucose and positively influence the gut microbiome, maybe even to the point that your metabolic function even improves. So that's super important. I love including those types of foods in my diet, on my salads, things like that. But I also love drinking drinks that are high in these ferments like kombucha. It's such a great way to help support the gut health. Now, my next tip is to choose healthy fats. Healthy fats may also help with blood sugar balance because they are digested more slowly. Now, some good sources of healthy fats include things like olive oil, avocados, nuts, and seeds. A little saturated fat is okay and even sometimes useful, but too much could actually contribute to the underlying insulin resistance that makes us intolerant of carbohydrates. Remember, it's not the carbohydrate that is responsible. That's just the symptom, okay? Now, speaking of carbohydrates, it's important. My next tip is to choose healthy carbs. So yes, healthy complex carbohydrates are our best bet to preventing insulin resistance in the first place. But carb has become this dirty word in our diet culture for a while now. But the truth is there is a huge difference between a jelly bean and a black bean. Whole, real food sources of carbohydrates such as beans, fruits, and vegetables should be the bulk of our plate. So, and then limit the things such as like simple carbs like sugar, honey, and white flour, and you should be fine. Okay, now you won't be surprised with this, but my next tip is to reduce stress, okay? Stress releases cortisol, which could increase blood sugar. So try to incorporate all of those relaxation techniques, things like yoga, meditation, deep breathing, all of that. All right, let's dive into testosterone, okay? Now, like other hormones, too little testosterone is a problem too, since testosterone can influence metabolic rate. And metabolic rate just means how many calories that you burn. Now, women with lower than usual testosterone levels can have difficulty losing weight. Plus, they experience a lot of other not so fun symptoms like fatigue, lack of motivation, feelings of sadness, or low libido. There is a significant relationship between testosterone levels and weight in women, as women need testosterone in the right amount. Now, specifically, women with high testosterone can struggle with weight loss because testosterone could increase insulin resistance in some people. But higher than normal insulin levels could stimulate the body to make more testosterone. This is what we see most commonly when we look at someone that has PCOS. And we're going to talk a little bit more about PCOS in just a minute. Now, testosterone levels can also affect appetite, linked to higher levels of ghrelin, which is our hormone that stimulates appetite. So, and if you've got too much testosterone to begin with, but are also experiencing elevations in inflammatory proteins, well, that can kick up the estrogen levels in the body as well. There are a lot more studies on men than women on testosterone. Surprise, surprise. But here are just a few of the healthy lifestyle tips for balancing testosterone that I love to share with women. Okay. Again, focus on blood sugar balance. This is huge. Since insulin and testosterone are so closely linked, optimizing blood sugar using the tips that we just talked about, like eating more fiber, regularly spacing your meals, eating more healthy fats, and reducing processed carbs are all very key to this. Now, another one that I don't know that I've talked about here on the podcast is to try drinking something like spearmint tea. Now, if you have higher testosterone or androgens, as seen if you are somebody that has PCOS, spearmint tea has been shown to effectively lower androgens. All right. Now, let's talk about hunger hormones, okay? Leptin. We talked a little bit about ghrelin, but let's talk about leptin. Now, leptin resistance is a condition in which the body becomes resistant to the effects of the hormone leptin. Leptin is responsible for suppressing the appetite and regulating metabolism. Just like insulin resistance, leptin resistance means the body isn't responding as it should, so that's what makes you feel hungry all the time. Now, one reason is that the person may carry too much fat tissue since leptin is produced by fat cells. Another reason is that the person's cells may not respond appropriately to leptin signals, preventing the hormone from doing its job correctly. Whatever the reason, leptin resistance can make it very difficult for women to lose weight. Now, leptin resistance is tricky and takes a multifaceted approach. You can address your hunger and satiety hormones with healthy lifestyle habits, like eating healthy and exercising, but still things like sleep, stress, and addressing inflammation causes are all very important too. Now, let's talk about PCOS and why is weight loss difficult with PCOS. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS, is an endocrine-based condition caused by an imbalance in hormones like testosterone, insulin, and progesterone. Testosterone and insulin are often elevated in those with PCOS, making weight loss more than difficult. Because of inflammation and insulin resistance, PCOS can make it harder to lose weight and contribute to increased weight gain. Now, studies have shown that women with PCOS have higher levels of inflammation, possibly due to insulin resistance. Not every woman with PCOS has insulin resistance, but the majority do. Now, high androgens like testosterone also play a big role. So as we talked about earlier, now weight loss with PCOS takes a specialized approach, including things like diet, exercise, supplements, and so much more to address the actual root causes. But know that weight gain is a symptom of PCOS and it's not the cause of PCOS. And you cannot cure PCOS by losing weight, but in many instances, by losing weight, it can actually help to reduce a lot of the symptoms. Addressing weight issues in people with PCOS is never a calories in versus calories out conversation. It is important to educate on the multiple ways this condition can impact the body and focus on the nutrition, lifestyle, and sometimes medication strategies that can help to bring the body back into balance. Now, when should you go see a doctor for weight management? All right. I get this question, especially these days, a lot. If you experience rapid weight gain or loss, let's say more than 10 pounds in a 6-month period of time, it is time to probably see your provider because weight changes are often a symptom. This one could point to a very serious issue. So it's one to pay attention to. And if you've tried losing weight, but you can't seem to budge the scale and are feeling more than frustrated, meeting with a provider to discuss your unique health needs is important. if you try a popular diet pattern, let's say like intermittent fasting, and then you actually gain weight or you notice significant symptoms like fatigue or missing periods, then absolutely, it's time to check in with your medical provider. Now, if you notice that your hair is falling out, there's a drop in your energy levels, you have dry, thinning skin, or you start feeling pain in your joints, or your moods start feeling like they're all over the place, or if there are any period issues that accompany changes in your weight, definitely, please go get that all checked out. It may be time to test your hormone levels to identify any root causes for your weight loss resistance. Now, hormone imbalance and hormone level testing is something that I think is very important. Ideally, you'll work with a practitioner who will order a full thyroid panel, along with sex hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, although these can get tricky if you have irregular cycles. So definitely keep track as best you can and communicate with your provider and make sure that when you take these tests that they're done at the appropriate time of the month. The other things that you might want to consider that sometimes are forgotten when you're looking to get these hormones tested is to also test for adrenal hormones like cortisol. Now, based on these results, you can address the cause of the imbalance with additional support like diet and supplements or lifestyle adjustments. Each situation is going to be absolutely unique. Now, one thing to add is that we all live in different bodies. So a healthcare professional can also help you decide if the weight that you're carrying is healthy for your body and also help you to readjust expectations if needed. Weight is only one marker of health and we are all different. There's no one size fits all. So what we might have been told is too much weight might be the perfect weight for us. Now, some of my final thoughts on hormones and weight loss is that the hormone and weight loss equation is complex. So many hormones work together in our body to maintain that equilibrium. So when one or more of these hormones is out of balance, it can lead to weight gain or make it difficult to lose weight, even when you're eating right and exercising. Now, if you've been trying to lose weight without success, it may be time to have your hormone levels checked by a professional to see if they could be the culprit. With the right information and support, you can get your hormones back in balance and finally see and feel the results that you want. And lastly, never stand for a provider who makes weight an issue of morality, shames you about your body, or uses it as an excuse to dismiss your concerns. None of that should be tolerated from anyone, and let alone a medical provider. Alrighty. I think that just about covers it. I hope that you enjoyed this episode and learned something new or were reminded about some helpful information. Now, my goal in this podcast is always to empower us all to be our own best health advocates because knowledge is power. If you enjoyed this episode and you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much and congratulations. Now, to thank you, I'm excited to offer you girls that are our loyal friends a special discount code, okay? To give you 15% off discount of all of our Mixers products. The code is It's Her Time Podcast. Now, I will leave the discount code in the show notes in case you need just a little reminder and you forget, but it should be easy to remember. I hope you enjoy this discount and the many benefits that will come from providing your body with the key nutrients that your hormone system needs to function at its best. You deserve it. The girls in your life deserve it too. And you can use this code when you purchase Mixers products for your favorite things parties or your gift exchanges this month. It's the gift that just keeps on giving. So thanks again for being here. I love and adore every single one of you. Until next time, I hope you all have a very happy and healthy week.